Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's production of the 2017 Vibram Open, round number 3. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined by Robert Slickhair McCall. And
Hey.
Robert, glad to have you back on the call with me. Steve Dodge, Dana Vici, they're out. We got Robert McCall today. He just got into town.
That's right. We left Emporia, Kansas, local time this morning at 2:45 a.m. So it's been a long one already, but super excited to be out here. I've never been out to Maple Hill before. My only venture into this area of the country even was Vermont, and which is beautiful, but it's something special. I've watched videos of this from the old Vibram DVDs and the live coverage and everything, and so thrilled to be out here, excited to watch it go down live and get to talk about it a little bit.
All right, well, you're in for a treat. This is a beautiful track, as they say. This is Maple Hill Gold. We've caught up with the second card. They're putting out on hole number 2. We'll get to some of their action, and shortly we'll have the lead card for you. Stay tuned. You're watching live disc golf right here on Smashbox TV. And again, welcome everyone. This is Terry Miller along with Robert McCall. We're going to move in on hole number 2. It looks like we have Ricky Wysocki here in a moment. It's going to be putting. We invite everyone to tune in to udisclive.com. You can follow along with all of the scores. Chris Clemens is putting for 3.
I think Chris may have been out of bounds there, so it might have been his 4, but we can find out on UDisc anytime we want to.
Yes, we can.
The wonders of technology.
And as the gallery moves back, we'll get back into position. And Robert will talk a little bit about how hole 3, the tee pad that they're playing from, is a new tee this year. The one that's in front of us is actually the tee that's been played for the last number of years, also the one aced by Dave Felberg a few years back. And they decided to make this one just a bit tougher.
Hole 2, you had a 2, Rick.
I had 3.
Chris. Grady.
3.
Nate Sexton first to tee here on hole number 3. And that looks to be a pretty good-looking shot on the left side of the fairway. This is Wysocki.
I played with, or commentated on a round of Ricky's earlier, so I know that was his stiletto. A pretty overstable disc, but he's flexed it nicely up to the right side. Probably looking at a, 40, 50 foot putt.
Just missing most of the trees on the left side. Finally hits a later one is Grady Shoe. We had a really good round out here yesterday.
Because Chris Clemens is a Midwest guy, I've gotten to play some golf with him, and he's a powerful lefty with a great forehand. Just caught one of the trees on the left side of the fairway, just forming the side of the gap.
All right, these guys are going to move down the fairway. We're going to check in. We may have some action on hole 6 where there's a little bit of a backup, so we'll see if that's going on. Chad's over there at hole number 6. So if there's action over there, you could see some of that. Otherwise, you may listen to a word from our sponsor and some other information from Steve Dodge, our Disc Golf Pro Tour Director. Either way, we'll be back with you in a few moments right here from Maple Hill Gold.
it going to make it? Good?
Perfect.
Fantastic. Yo, Patrick, yo. This is our Silly Pint call out. This Silly Pint is for you. DGPT, second year, Vibram Open. Thank you for being a Silly Pint Patreon. Or is it patron?
I don't know.
Okay. Daniel Reynoso, this one is for you. This Silly Pint is for you. Look at the striations. This will be your Silly Pint. Thank you very much for being a Silly Pint patron. If you want to be a Silly Pint patron and you're watching this and you're not one of the 6 names I'm calling out, go to patreon.com/DGPT and sign up to be a Silly Pint patron. It's September. If you sign up now, you will get Vibram and GMC in this 1 month. That is a bargain. Thank you very much to Brian Megason. This Silly Pint is for you. Kaboom. Sam Martinson, thank you very much, sir. This Silly Pint is for you. This is your Silly Pint call out. Alan Risley, you have a class son who won the Spirit Award at the last event. Hopefully he does better in the second round. This Silly Pint is for you. And shoptom.com, Tom Schneider, this Silly Pint on top of our 6 Silly Pint pyramid is for you. I hope you guys all have a great day watching the show, and thank you very much for supporting the Pro Tour. Back to you.
Back it up.
For looks, for life, for liquor.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back as we're standing here on the tee of hole number 1. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Robert McCall. And Robert, Steve Dodge, again, we've kicked him out. He's going to get the honors of calling off the tee here, but who's on the card?
All right, so today, 3-stroke lead right now. It was Gregg Barsby out of California, putting together a couple of really solid rounds. And then tied at 11 under par are James Conrad and then Nicholas Masters. Nicholas, young gun you may not have heard of just yet, but you will have after this. Fantastic player, lots of skills. And then coming in at 10 under par, one behind those guys, Nikko Locastro. He changed from the Zelda shirt today. Went with a different look, and I think it looks good.
All right, it does look good. We've got Steve Dodge on the call. We're here on hole number 1.
I run so many marathons. Hey, Robert. Thank you, sir.
On our lead card on day 3, teeing off first, Gregg Barsby.
And Robert, as you said, Gregg Barsby in the lead here on hole 1.
Gregg absolutely unleashes on a hyzer flip. Looks like that was a destroyer or a boss. Crushed it into the landing zone. Huge drive. Great way to start the round for Gregg.
Beautiful shot by Barsby. The crowd is ready to go.
Second on the tee, James Conrad.
And of course, our last Disc Golf Pro Tour winner, James Conrad, after a great performance at Idlewild.
Get back. Come on.
James needs that to flex out. It's going to clear the pond just barely, and that's low, and he'll be able to get up and down from there. It may be a little bit back too far for the birdie.
Third on our lead card, Nicholas Masters.
Robert, we saw Nicholas Masters yesterday here on the lead card. Like you said, not everyone knows his name, but he proved he belongs here, and he's back today.
He's just gotten over just a little too much on that defender. We're waiting to see if that's going to be inbounds. Looks like he has arrived safe, but will likely just be playing for a par 4.
Rounding out our lead card, Nikko Locastro.
It's fireworks time. We see Nikko lining up a 360, one of the most exciting players on tour to watch.
And in all my years, I'm not sure I've seen a competitive 360 off the tee. Nikko's is hyzering out. We've got women's coverage from throughout the day. Let's start right here on hole 1 at the Vibram Open.
Live on the tee for our women's lead card. Teeing off in this order, Valarie Jenkins, Paige Pierce, Catrina Allen, and Vanessa Van Dyken. Good luck, ladies.
So we start the day off. It is cold. It is not as windy as yesterday. And here we watch Valarie and Paige and Catrina and Vanessa all clear the pond with relative ease. Vanessa had the shortest drive, and she pulls this well right of where she was intending. She has a very tough upshot. She will be looking at carding a bogey on hole 1. Valarie Jenkins puts herself in good position behind one of those guardian trees. She'll have a tough up. Catrina in the mouth and easy up and down for par. Paige Pierce also in very good position. She has a pretty easy up and down for par. And here is Vanessa Van Dyken's third shot. If she wants a shot at par, she's got to be aggressive. She does not do that. She will go up and down and card the bogey. Valarie Jenkins with the most challenging par save out there, and she nails it. So Vanessa Van Dyken loses a stroke on the first hole. Let's see the men finish up.
By Barsby. Go to Chad. And Robert, we've moved down the fairway. Everyone is safe today. Yesterday we saw Nicholas Masters unfortunately turn one over into the drink. Today he is safe on this right-hand side. And they've pushed this pin back, making this hole a little bit tougher this year. Well, I'll say considerably tougher. The extra 50 feet has resulted in far fewer birdies here on hole 1.
Absolutely. In years past, the pin was maybe only 50 feet past the mouth, and now that it's moved back, Nicholas is left with no choice but to play for a 4, and so he's done exactly that, playing for a position about 30 feet shy of the mouth to the entrance to the pin.
Looks like James Conrad will be second to throw. And James has a few trees to contend with. Unlike most of our players, he's able to actually see over most of those trees, though.
Yeah, we'd be in trouble if we were on this fairway, Terry.
And James is, in fact, throwing it right to the mouth that you talked about, the entranceway here. They've pushed the pin back into the right, as we said, 50 feet. And earlier when I was out here, I watched the second card, the 245 card play this hole. And Nate Doss had a really good look at the birdie 3, but this hole's only given up a few all weekend.
Yeah, it seems exceptionally difficult just because you have to land on the left side of the fairway to get a clean look at the basket, and even then there's out of bounds surrounding the mouth of the entrance to the green, right side, left side, and deep as well. And so very daunting second shot after a big bomb tee shot. I'll be surprised if any of our competitors get really aggressive at this pin just because it's the first hole of the round and a difficult angle into the green.
Looks like you and Nikko almost coordinated shirts today.
Yeah, we called each other. I was wearing my Zelda shirt back home yesterday, but you didn't see that on the coverage. So a little unfortunate break, but we're trying our best.
And Nikko has opted for the somewhat conservative shot. Really, I'm not sure he had too many other options other than just pitching it out onto the, we'll say, the driveway that kind of moves all the way down here on hole 1 and then carries through hole 7 and also past hole 14. And Gregg Barsby, he is in a great position to actually attack this pin.
Absolutely mashed his drive. He's got one Christmas tree directly between him and the mouth of the green, but he's very proficient with a forehand, so I think we'll likely see maybe a baby flex forehand into this green. I am interested to see how the stats break down on this hole with the pin being moved back a little bit more, because a lot of times players are going to play more safe instead of attacking the screen, but I imagine Greg will be going for it.
And the roar from the gallery as we look at udisclive.com, we see this is in fact the 5th most difficult hole, and it is playing as a .39 above par, so averaging a total of 4.39, and the 5th most difficult hole that we find out here on the course. So as you said, pushing that pin back, very different look this year. And Nikko waits for the gallery to settle. Sometimes he just gets up and wants to throw quickly. And a little bit of a squibble there. That was kind of weird how that came in and checked up.
Yeah, easy little touch forehand that I think he was planning on maybe getting a little bit more ground action, but with the wood chips and the roots up there, sometimes you get a little unlucky. I don't think Nick is much outside 15 or 20 feet, so it shouldn't be a problem for his score. James has a long look at birdie here, and if Idlewild or any of the past tournaments from this year are going to give us any indication, he's likely going to hit metal here if he doesn't make it. He is the king of long jump putts right now.
And you called it, Robert. That is into the center of the chains. He wipes out.
Man down.
Wow. It's one way to get under par.
I'm going to tell you, one thing that I love watching James play is that he is fully committed to every single shot. You can tell on every tee shot. You can tell on every putt. He's running up to the basket, too excited to pay attention to the roots on the ground. Takes a tumble, but he's back up and bouncing onto the next hole. Great putt by James Conrad.
And his head first slide into basket one, into birdie three, basket one. That's going to result in a under par just to get this round started. Very nice. The rest clear out. We're moving on to hole two. And you called it, Robert. That is into the center of the chains. He wipes out.
Man down.
Wow. It's one way to get under par. Robert, I fear that the memes are already coming, and maybe a few of the GIFs out there. I looked at his knees. He's got a little bit of little road rash or chip rash on the knees, a little bit of blood there, but all for the birdie.
Absolutely, and I mean, totally worth it. If it meant that I would get a birdie three on that hole every time if I had to faceplant going to get my putter out of the basket, sign me up. I'll take a birdie three. And James's putt was awesome, but we don't need to overshadow the fact that Gregg had a drop-in birdie three. Great aggressive second shot that left him, I don't know, maybe 10 feet away. And so great start for our lead card here. I think we're in for a really good round of golf.
Yeah, his might have been a drop-in, but he didn't lay out for it.
Yeah, right. And so it really doesn't count as cool, but it still is written the same on the scorecard.
And Barsby might find that left side gap. I'm guessing that's going to get hung up by some of the trees.
And full commitment from James Conrad with the T-bird, just looking for it to settle down. He's throwing a beautiful tee shot and will be putting for his birdie too. In contrast to James Tieber, Nicholas has opted for a little bit higher speed disc. He's chosen a villain, and it's just relying on the late stability to keep him in bounds, and it does exactly that.
I think that tree helped as well.
Yeah, you know, it's also the tree. Yeah.
And yesterday we saw Nikko bust out a roller. Steve Dodge was surprised by that due to the gully. It looks like he's trying the same route, and we're waiting for it. Let's see how the women attacked hole 2 earlier.
We advance to hole 2. Valarie Jenkins maintains her 3-stroke lead over Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen. Big thanks to Dynamic Disc. Dynamic Disc actually sponsored the Downtown Disc Golf event. They were the presenting sponsor. They're also providing Robert McCall on the call. Thank you very much, Robert. Valarie Jenkins tees off first. That fights through. She's going to have a little bit outside circle 1 putt for birdie. Paige Pierce, a little bit left, doesn't come back right, kicks left. She is a very tough look through that patch of trees. Catrina Allen fights through. She's just inside circle 1. A good break for Catrina Allen there, and Vanessa Van Dyken straight through the thin gap. A great shot by Vanessa. 6 points. Let's see if she can cut it down to 3 with a par putt just wide. Paige Pierce carding the bogey, losing a stroke, maybe 2. All at 1. Vanessa Van Dyken for birdie. Does not get the stroke back from hole 1. Catrina Allen, birdie! We're moving on to hole 3. Catrina Allen moving up.
And Barsby has about 80 feet to the pin. He does hit a little bit of some of that low-hanging tree branch between him and the basket and throwing uphill. Not an easy shot.
Definitely not, but he's left himself in a decent position, 20 feet or so, slightly uphill. Gregg's a good putter. I'd like to see him make that. We've got James Conrad at about 45 feet or so, straight uphill at the basket. I mean, are we going to see 2 for 2? I want to, but I'll never call it because I'll never jinx him.
Yeah! And what an opening here by Conrad.
The power of the reverse jinx is in effect today. I'm telling you, James, he steps through on those longer putts, and I think he's one of the best in the world from that distance right now. Ricky stands still, and, you know, he's obviously good at those two, but James is certainly making a name for himself as a long-distance putter.
And right out of his hand, Nikko knew that was not a good effort by him. Up and over the top of the basket. He's going to, at best, walk away with a par here. And Nicholas Masters finds himself about 1 meter inside that 10-meter circle. So he's looking at approximately 30 feet, just inside that. And that was a great putt uphill, just creeping over the edge of that basket. And Barsby's got, as you said, a little more than 20 feet for cleanup on the par.
Barsby's AVR is in the center for 3. Good putt for him. I think Nikko might be depressed that he's currently losing the long hair competition to James as well, so we'll see how that battle ensues for the rest of the round.
If his hair catches up during this round, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We'll see you
It would
guys
be
on.
awesome.
It would be. We'll see you on hole 3 in just a moment.
Not all fairways finish left, and we can't all throw with pro power. So Vibram has designed an understable distance driver that is perfect for beginners or advanced players looking for amazing anhyzer finishes. Introducing the Unlace from Vibram. Durability, grip, performance.
Sun King Discs, established in 2001. Florida's most respected name in disc sports. Official retail merchandiser of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Currently on tour supporting Discraft and DGA live inventory, free shipping at $12. All orders $19.99, ships in a box, includes single discs, large selection of both stock and collectibles. Check out the website at www.sunkingdiscs.com.
Wow, and just missing one of the earlier trees on the left-hand side. He does hit one about 2/3 of the way down the fairway as we move over to the new longer tee pad found on hole number 3.
Nicholas' shot catches an early tree on the right and rockets to the left. This hole is playing as the 8th most difficult hole on the course, and so kind of the middle of the pack, averaging 3.25 right now. Difficult hole to reach because of the added distance and the tightness of the gap.
And another clean one that's going up that left side. I'll say, Robert, out of the 15 to 20 drives I've seen on this hole thus far this weekend, it seems as if 80 to 90% have been tight to the left. So it's interesting to note.
Nico's throwing a smooth destroyer turnover. Just gets a late kick to the left, but a good shot.
Let's check out the women on hole 3.
We advance to hole 2. Valarie Jenkins maintains her 3-stroke lead over Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen. Big thanks to Dynamic Disc. Dynamic Disc actually sponsored the Downtown Disc Golf event. They were the presenting sponsor. They're also providing Robert McCall on the call. Thank you very much, Robert. Valarie Jenkins tees off first. We move on to hole 3, the beautiful S through the woods. Catrina Allen and Paige Pierce switch spots. Catrina Allen in second place now. It's an early tree and bounces right. She's going to be in trouble unless she can have a miraculous second shot. Valarie Jenkins gets inside the corner tree, and she should have a great look at up and down for par. Vanessa Van Dyken, that is not a good place to be. Paige Pierce goes inside and comes back. She's actually going to have a putt for birdie. Catrina Allen gets just outside circle 1 on her putt for par. Valarie Jenkins, easy like Sunday morning. Vanessa is in trouble and actually leaves herself with a very long putt for par. Get in there, disc, just short. A great run by Vanessa Van Dyken. Catrina Allen misses her par putt. Paige Pierce, call it a birdie. Paige and Catrina switch spots again.
And Nicholas Masters somehow finds his way all the way through that. What an impressive shot.
Wow. It's difficult to tell how wide the gap was that he found from our vantage point, but that was a smooth forehand, turning up the hill and turning into the hill. So an incredibly technical shot that Nicholas just pulled off really well. I believe that was with a lucid felon, so great shot by Nicholas there. Looks like James is clearing out all potential jump putt obstacles. He may just be outside jump putt range. Remains to be seen. A very, very smooth upshot for James. He does opt for the more traditional backhand instead of the jump putt, but looks as if he's put himself in a good spot to score here.
Robert, it looks like we've got a great gallery out here taking in the action. One of the challenges, though, anytime we find, whether we were at Waco or in Idlewild or here at Vibram, sometimes the fairways are relatively tight and can be a little bit congested. So as much as we love to see the gallery, we also have to be very conscientious of where they're at and making sure that the players have the room and the space that they need. Nikko from 72 feet is just a bit short, and some will so cleverly chime in and say, how in the world do you guess those random numbers of distances? Well, there's red flags out here that are at the 10-meter mark, which is almost exactly 33 feet, and then there are blue flags, which we call the circle 2 or the 20-meter mark. So if I do some quick math in my head, if I add roughly the 6 feet he was behind the blue flag, that's how I arrive at 72 feet. That's some solid math.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of you for that one. I don't know if I would have gotten there personally.
Jumper from Barsby. And he had the right height. The question is, how much is that rolling? And it looks like it sat down for him, but that could have been very dangerous, as this is on a little bit of an incline.
Yeah, if you're new to the game or don't play on sloped grades very much, you may not know this, but when putts come down on that sort of hyzer or more extreme angle, a lot of times they have a little bit more potential to roll away, and so for the most part our players are looking to keep those landing pretty flat on the ground. It is unlucky when they get a roll away like that, but the players can do their best to land them as flat as possible. And to your point about our gallery, it is great having the gallery that we have, and I think one of the reasons that we feel like we can get so close to the players is because in disc golf, our pros are still so accessible and so friendly, and that's one of the things I love about disc golf, but you're exactly right. We need to respect their space whenever they're playing holes like this. Seems as if our gallery today is doing well with that.
And Barsby had a little bit of a taster that coming back up the hill after that roll away. And unfortunately, he doesn't have a tap in here. I know this is a short putt, but here he is. He's going to be lining up eventually for what is a bogey 4, and he still has 20 feet to go. For now, it looks like James Conrad's throwing next, but hopefully Barsby can not let that shake him. Oh, and high on the chain entrapment, then comes down, hits the actual basket, and then slips back out for Conrad. He's going to walk away with a bogey here.
Good up and in for Nicholas from a really, really difficult spot in the fairway. I would assume he maybe wasn't thinking three when he saw the kick that he got, but made a great putt. And unfortunately for James Conrad, those are putts that stick sometimes, don't stick others.
And Barsby paused momentarily for a bug. We're going to let these guys tap out, and we're moving on to hole 4.
Always thrown Innova and competed with Innova. I don't think I'd be playing this sport if it wasn't for creating the disc itself and then just taking it to the next level over and over and over again. How great the discs are themselves. It's really gained my trust, and I don't think I would be here without Innova. I don't see myself doing anything else.
And welcome back here to hole number 4, 250 feet downhill.
This has to be one of the shortest holes on the course, but it's an extremely daunting tee shot. Nicholas takes a forehand heart turnover and flexes it out past the left side of the basket, but looks as if he's gotten a safe mark. If you're just watching on video, this gap is extremely tight. Nico's putter just leaks right and catches the secondary set of trees and kicks down to the left side. He'll have some work to get his par 3.
And commonly on this short tee shot, we see a lot of people with a standstill. Interesting to see James Conrad go with an outright run-up and release, and it worked very well for him. And I'm not sure he could have gotten any closer to that tree on the left side. It doesn't get all the way down there, but we'll check in with the women here on hole 4.
We move on to hole 4. Valarie Jenkins maintains her 3-stroke lead. Paige Pierce puts that to the right, kicks to the left. Valarie Jenkins, I would say with her worst drive of the round so far, just a bit outside. That's the way to do it, Catrina. Just put a little bit of ante, a nice smooth stroke. Let the disc just float on down. And Vanessa does it even better. A beautiful shot by Vanessa. She's left herself 20 feet for birdie.
Nikko's having a discussion with the branches there, and is on the right side. He'll have a straddle. Let's get back to the women.
Thanks to Keen, one of our premier partners every year of the Pro Tour. Paige Pierce puts it inside the circle. She'll card the easy par. Catrina Allen, birdie! A great putt by Catrina Allen. Posing to a tie for second. Vanessa Van Dyken cards the bird as well. We're moving on to hole 5. Let's see how the men finish up on hole 4.
Plenty of loft as Barsby takes a really good run at that and hits off of the Mach X entrapment.
I'm not sure if you were able to see from behind Gregg's shot, but there are two very skinny trees that blocked off all normal flights of a putter, so staring at the water, Gregg had to loft that a lot more than he would have liked to. It was a great bid, but got a little unlucky kick. And speaking of unlucky kicks, Nikko's found himself just outside the circle after a pretty decent upshot that got punished.
Nikko's attempt for par is short on the downhill straddle. One thing worth noting here, Robert, is the lack of wind that we're experiencing today. I've been out here in a lot of different conditions, and today we are blessed with pretty mild temperatures and certainly a lack of wind.
Dead calm. It's crazy, especially in the woods. I mean, you can't feel a thing. Perfect conditions.
Nicholas has a look at birdie 2 here. He's a few steps inside the circle, 1 markers.
He's putting back uphill at the basket, which is definitely where you want to be. Great putt for 2 by Nicholas. He's missed to the side of the green. I think that our players are going to want to miss to being on the long side so that he's not staring at the water with this steep decline behind the basket.
And of course, we are very thankful for the Keen wall. Talked to Steve yesterday. I said I think that's probably saved a few strokes for some of the players throughout the weekend, as the Keen wall is in fact a barrier before the OB. And Barsby does make the comebacker. He's going to save the 3 here. We'd like to thank Keen for their support of the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
James Conrad looks as if he's just past a meter away from the Keen wall, which I think is right next to our out of bounds, if not signifying our out of bounds. So he's got approximately 20 to 25 feet back uphill for his birdie 2.
Right side and in. Another birdie for James Conrad. Nikko will tap in. We'll be with you in a few moments from the tee of 5.
Tempercraft, USA. Double wall, 18/8 stainless steel construction. Keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft, USA. Temper your thirst.
Hole 5 measures it in at 285 feet, and Nick Masters has gotten a huge forehand hyzer out over the water on a spike angle, and looks like he's settled well within the circle. He'll have a look at a birdie too.
And Conrad with a flippy AVR going out and over. And it is short and right. Hits the tree and comes into about 15 feet from the pin.
I believe this is Gregg's Firebird. He's hung it out pretty wide and asking for it to get back. Oh my goodness.
Gregg Barsby.
I hear the new thing when you hit an ace is just to run as far away as possible. So Gregg's starting a new trend. Super awesome to see an ace on hole 5 here today. Elevated basket. Way to get the round back on track, Gregg. Fantastic shot.
When you have the lead and you wish to extend it, that's one way to do it. Gets the hug from team and pal. Look at that. A couple of hugs from his card mates. Nicholas giving him the congratulations. What a shot, Gregg Barsby. Nico's going to have to regroup here and get ready. Nico would love to duplicate it. Comes in just a little bit short, and that is OB for Nikko Locastro. Hitting the wall. Let's move down. We'll meet you on the drop zone in just a few moments.
I believe this is Gregg's Firebird. He's hung it out pretty wide and asking for it to get back. Oh my goodness.
Gregg Barsby.
I hear the new thing when you hit an ace is...
In fact, at the drop zone. That's a great looking shot by Nico, just past the basket. We'll see, again, we'll go back to the women here on hole 5.
We move on to hole 5. Valarie Jenkins in the lead and in control. Catrina Allen on the tee. Pulls that right, kicks left. She's got a tough upshot. Vanessa Van Dyken pulls that right. Finds a local route. Gets a little ways down the fairway. Paige Pierce. She turns it. It gets a tough kick. And Valarie Jenkins. That hangs out straight a little bit more than she intended. Let's jump to the third shots. Here's Vanessa Van Dyken's third shot. She lays that up. She will be carding the bogey.
go, Rob.
And James Conrad is going to have to just settle for the birdie.
I know. Barsby employing a bold strategy, just throwing it in on the first one. Seems like a good idea.
And Nikko taps in after a struggle. We'll see you on hole 6 in a few moments.
For driving with power or into a headwind, Vibram designed a distance driver with amazing glide and a strong, predictable fade. It is the ideal disc for big arms, forehand drives, and smooth right-to-left finishes. Introducing the O-Lace from Vibram. Durability, grip, performance.
And just like that, everyone's rushing around to get their footage together because, of course, we're going to try and get the footage over to Sports Center, which actually is not that far from here, located in Bristol, Connecticut. Gregg Barsby will have the honors. We're going to try and stand in a position so that our card can tee without seeing me. I found a really skinny tree to hide behind, Robert. I think it works.
It looks like it's working great. I'm curious, since we're not by the tee box, if Barsby went with the obligatory, hey, anybody else take a 1 there? Oh, all right, I guess it's my box. Okay, guess I'll take the box then.
Yeah, that's the way you have to do it anytime you card the ace. And in a moment, I'll pull up the UDisc stats to tell you that this has to be one of the most difficult holes to par, if not the most difficult. And Barsby's following this up with a nearly perfect drive on hole number 6. Robert, you can say it all day long that a birdie here is a bonus, but sometimes just a par on hole 6 is a bonus, and he's going to guarantee himself at least that.
Absolutely. So many trees that you could kick off of and go out of bounds right, or find the water on the left, or actually just find jail on either side, which might even be worse than going out of bounds in some instances. So great shot by Barsby. Nicholas Masters has gone with a turnover backhand. Caught a little leaf or two, but it's going to be down near the basket. He should have a pretty easy up and down for the 3. Having never played here, when I walked up to this hole for the first time, I thought, I think 3 would be pretty good here.
It certainly is, and according to UDisc, this averages 3.61, in fact, making it the second most difficult hole relative to par, and there's really no surprise there whatsoever. There has only been 6 birdies found here this round, one by Josh Anthon, one by Eric McCabe, to name a few.
James Conrad's taken a flippy rock. He's tested the right side OB, but gotten let's say a favorable little redirection from a tree. He's sitting close to Nicholas's drive and should have a relatively easy up and down as well.
And we'll see if we can complete the star frame of great drives. To have 4 relatively clean drives would be great here. And as I say that, Nikko just about knocks over a tree right next to me. We'll be back with you in a few moments after watching the women.
We move on to hole 6 in this roller coaster round. Valarie Jenkins has a 4-stroke lead over her closest competitors, Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen. She puts that right and gets a very favorable kick. She is inbounds. Catrina Allen, a very smart shot down the left fairway. She'll have about 45 feet for birdie. Vanessa Van Dyken A little bit short and left. She probably wanted to get that farther down the fairway. She will have a very difficult up and down to save the par, and Paige Pierce pures the thin gap. Nice shot by Paige Pierce. She's got about 40 feet for birdie.
And a very skilled shot here by Nikko, and perfectly places it through the gap. Wow.
Unless you're standing here, you have no idea how difficult that shot was. That was executed to perfection.
As well, Valarie Jenkins with one of the most critical shots of her round. Done. Huge shout out to Tribaloid, consistent sponsor of the Pro Tour. Vanessa Van Dyken does not get through. She'll be carding the bogey on hole 6. Paige Pierce with a very uncharacteristic bad release on her putt. Catrina Allen leaves it left. No change to the leaderboard.
And it has been officially confirmed that Gregg Barsby had thrown a glow Firebird. So for everyone at home, it was a glow Firebird. Now James Conrad does not have a clean look, so to speak. We'll see if he ultimately opts for a little bit of a punch turnover, or maybe going right up the middle. He's just looking to get it close to the basket. And you talked about that long-range step putt, gave that a really good run.
Even from an obscured angle, that was a good bit at the basket that didn't really ever have any danger of missing too far or rolling away or anything like that, because it was coming in really slowly. So great play by James there. Nicholas's drive was within a few feet of James, but will definitely have a different gap to contend with. Just so many narrow trees accompanied by a few big trees kind of left of the basket that make this a very, very difficult upshot.
And getting caught up by one of the really small trees that is short of the pin. I think he'll have no problem being able to recover from there, but even when you do throw a great drive on this hole, sometimes this little island or this pocket of trees here in the middle gives you the most challenge. But Barsby has put himself in position to follow up the ace with one of the most impressive birdies on the course.
Absolutely.
Yeah! And he's done just that. Gregg Barsby is in fuego. Is that what they say here?
Yeah, I mean, this is in Mexico, but they might say that there.
Or you could... I won't even go there. All right.
Good for you.
A little restrained here today. And one thing I love about watching Nicholas Masters putt is he is committed. He steps up, takes usually one pump, and then throws it in. And that par save is just sick.
I mean, miraculous up and down for Nikko. Very, very well done.
And Conrad is in. We're moving over to the tunnel shot found on hole 7.
Great three.
And Robert, as I mentioned, Gregg Barsby following up the ace with one of the most difficult birdies on the course. That's a solid pair of holes there.
Absolutely, and that hole we just played, hole 6, is the second most difficult hole on the course. And so, yeah, to go ace 2 on any set of holes out here is good, but on those two is particularly great.
We are all good. Barsby getting the A-OK. We're live on the tee for hole number 7. And Barsby squares off with a tree, which then pushes him hard right here on the tunnel shot. And Nicholas finds the left side of the fairway. Yesterday he had the best drive in the group.
James absolutely guts the initial set of trees, gets a late tree kick to the middle of the fairway, but not a bad drive. Anything in the fairway here is worthy of praise. This is a difficult tee shot.
Nikko's hoping that stays straight, and it's doing just that. Filtering left. The women played to a different pin earlier. Let's see how they did on hole 7.
We move on to hole 7. Valarie Jenkins with 6 pars in a row. This is a gettable par 3, 280 feet, slight rise. She curves that one off left. She's going to have about 35 feet for birdie. Catrina Allen, straight up the gap, actually goes past the pin. A great shot by Catrina Allen. Paige Pierce, whoop, that's off to the right. Heisering back. That is a local route by Paige Pierce. She finds that route. That's why you show up early, folks. And Vanessa Van Dyken, oh, a tough kick at the end. Let's watch these ladies putt for birdie. Paige Pierce, Hart, and Valarie Jenkins. First birdie of the round. 6 pars, 1 birdie. She leads by 4. Back to the men.
And welcome back to Gregg Barsby's contemplation zone. He's got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of trees between him and the basket here. It's also slightly uphill, and you don't want to come up short because you will then still be putting uphill at the basket, and it may not even be in sight if you are too far down the hill. So the play here is long left, or, well, I'll say long or left. You just don't want to be short.
Absolutely. Gregg's disc was no more than a foot or two off the line. It got an extremely punishing kick, and that's one of the difficulties of playing out here at Maple Hill. Gregg's opted for an eagle turnover that's flexing back and gets another really punishing kick down to the left side.
And Robert, on the left-hand side of the fairway, we have Nicholas Masters. Yesterday, again, he had the best drive of this group. Also, in looking at udisclive.com, we see that 10% of our competitors put this inside circle 1, telling you just how difficult of a pin it is to drive to. And this is coming in at the 4th hardest hole. So the stretch of the 2 holes back-to-back of 6 and 7, the 2nd hardest and the 4th hardest, you definitely just want to get past these 2.
Absolutely, going par is great there. If somebody else on your card birdies, I mean, great for them, but you're not losing strokes to hardly anybody taking 3s on both of those holes.
A great approach shot there by Nicholas. I haven't checked the scramble rate. I'm not sure I figured out how that even works yet, but whatever the scramble percentage is, I know he's doing very well at it. I'm not sure if you want a high or a low one. Probably a high one?
You're going to want to have a high one. If you are new to the statistics, the scramble rate is when you are off the fairway and then are able to get up and down for a par or better from that drive. And so scramble rate, a lot of times, gives an idea of how good a player is at basically making lemonade out of lemons a lot of times.
Do you have to like Beyonce too? Did you mention lemonade?
I did mention lemonade, but actually not Beyonce. I'm not sure where you got that one from. Subliminal advertising, I'll tell you. Barsby is going to have to work hard to make any lemonade at this point. This is an extremely tough spot. Another shot that maybe 6 inches to the left, and he's looking at a putt for a par 3, but caught a tree and kicked down to the left, and now has lots of skinny trees to contend with. Wow, that was a great shot by Barsby. It looks like he's put the disc on its back so that it would slide a little bit when it hit the ground, and it slid across the mouth of the fairway to just outside, it looks like, circle 1, maybe just inside. James has opted for the more conservative play. He did have a line straight at the basket, but an extremely long line, lots of trees to hit. So he played left side of the trees just for an easy drop-in 3. Great play by James.
And Nikko does find himself inside circle 2, and he puts up a pretty good effort at that, however, just short. He's going to have to settle for the par here. We also see that Gregg Barsby, who is finding his way down the fairway, or should I say the alternative fairways, it puts himself to about 25 feet. So he's got a little bit of work to do, and this is for a bogey 4.
I like the term alternative fairways.
And squeaks it in. I'm wondering if we can get that term added to our UDIS stats, perhaps, anytime the alternative fairways are utilized by our competitors.
Scramble percentage / alternative fairways. I like that one a lot. Good call.
And Nicholas Masters has gone past the basket. He'll have a little bit of shrubbery to contend with. And as I said, he's trying to decipher which way he's going to go.
A lot of narrow gaps, but not one clear good option to put out of right now. Yeah, and I mean, his arm just caught a branch on the way out, so he'll have to settle for a bogey, which honestly isn't very, very bad on this hole. I know all of our players are always trying to get birdie or better, but 4 is not going to kill you on this course, especially on this hole.
A few tap-ins, and we're going to move over to the beautiful hole 8. We'll see if we can get another ace to put on SportsCenter. And welcome back here to hole number 8, measuring in at 320 feet, approximately 305 feet to clear the hole.
To clear the water.
Or, yeah, the water.
Otherwise, they would have put 305 on the T sign. I think. I'm not an expert.
He must be a course designer, though. James Conrad on the tee. And in dead calm conditions, James Conrad is heading right at the basket. He goes past it, hits off the Pro Tour wall behind it, and he will be safe putting downhill.
I'm really surprised to see Nikko take a forehand at this basket. I'm pretty sure he's aced it in years past with a backhand, but I mean, he knows better than I do. He put it about 15 feet behind the basket. Great smooth forehand for him.
We're seeing Gregg Barsby do the same, and what's interesting is that I feel like there's more to contend with on that left-hand side, so I honestly am completely baffled by that when these guys are such great backhand throwers.
Absolutely, it's the more guarded side of the green, but I guess the angle at which the green is receiving a forehand could be considered better. I don't know. I would throw a backhand, but I just talk about disc golf. I don't usually win.
That's got to hurry up as it's heading toward, kicks up, and it looks like we should get a safe indication. We've got a long walk. We'll see you on the green of hole 8.
We advance to hole 8. This is about 250 feet over the water to clear. The pin's about 260 feet. This is a gettable birdie, and Valarie brings those trees to the right in play. That was a very lucky shot to get through those trees. Paige Pierce puts it on the green very nicely. Oh, a tough bounce. She's behind that tree. She'll have a tough look at birdie, but she can hit that putt. Catrina Allen is short. Looks like she was playing the hyzer and just didn't pull it right enough. A very tough break for Catrina Allen. Vanessa Van Dyken does not want to leave it short, but she does. Got a couple of players throwing from the OB drop zone. They'll have easy bogeys, giving up at least one, potentially two strokes to Valarie. Let's see if Valarie can capitalize. A pretty smart shot, not bringing the water into play at all. Paige Pierce running it and going OB. Instead of cutting the lead to 3, she raises it to 5. We're moving on to hole 9. Let's see the men finish 8.
And Robert, we're approaching the green here on hole number 8. And some insight. Gregg Barsby said he actually changed up his disc on this hole and decided to drive with the same one he drove hole 5 with, because he thought if I ace again, well, at least it'll be the same disc, and that'll be a better story.
Absolutely, and I gotta respect the game. He's obviously thrown a good shot, so maybe he should just throw that on all the rest of the drives. We'll see.
I think it's fair to say that is a pro-level problem when you say, well, I aced with this disc,
Yeah.
so later in the round I'm going to throw it again on a certain hole, just so I could say I have 2 aces with the same disc.
Absolutely. And a quick comment about Nicholas Masters' putt right there. He was about 5 to 6 feet outside the circle, and I'm not sure if you can tell from the perspective, but as a right-handed putter, if that catches any hyzer and misses the basket, there's a good chance that goes in the water. And Nicholas threw a good committed putt and caught basket, and it was, that's a difficult putt to commit to, and he did really well at that, so I'm really liking to see him play today. And James is having some tall people problems here. He just took his meter away from the guardian wall on the backside of the green, and when he went to putt, kicked his foot up and it hit the back of the wall. Neither one of Terry nor I would have that problem.
And super smooth by James Conrad. And speaking of problems, if you want to save yourself from a few back problems, go out and pick up yourself an Upper Park disc golf bag. Supporter here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Way to go, Nikko.
And Nikko converts with the very unconventional or uncharacteristic forehand drive here on this hole, at least. You're right. He aced last year with a putter. And Barsby for the cleanup. Nicholas Masters will still putt in. Everyone's going to need to hold off just for a moment. He's still left with about 12, maybe 15 feet, and he actually has a little bit of work to do.
Absolutely. I don't know if you caught this about Barsby's putt, but he got a little of that Ricky Wysocki float in the change. So, Ricky, watch out. Some people are learning your tricks, man.
All right, we are clear on 8. We'll see you guys on the very challenging hole 9 in a moment.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Left side and rolling down. It looks like it should be okay. That is inbounds, left side, rolling down the hill.
Get past it. Oh my
And Barsby opts for the forehand, pushing that right side, and that is a really good looking shot. He may have a long look at a putt from there. And that's left side for Nicholas. The women continue to battle. Let's check in with them here on hole 9.
Down. Hit the tree and backboard. Get lucky.
And Robert, I could not see Nikko originally lining that up. That carries all the way to the water's edge, but it is in bounds. I'm not sure if he took a nap back there, but I was certainly waiting for him to line up that shot, and unfortunately, it is not clean.
Yeah, Nikko had a difficult gap to beat off of his second shot. Hole 9 actually plays as the most difficult hole on the course, playing .85 strokes over par. This is a par 3, though some might argue it's a par 4. Really narrow gap from the tee uphill and then back downhill to an island green with wall built up around the edge of the island that could easily kick an errant or short upshot out of bounds or keep it out of bounds. So lots of challenge on this hole. If I was playing this for score and I got a 4, I'm good. It's a tough hole.
And we talked about it yesterday at length, that anything on top of the hill so that you're seeing the basket is considered a pretty successful shot. So controlling the angle in which you release this, because it's very easy for a disc to fade out hard left or hard right, depending on the rotation you're putting on it, because you're not able to throw the disc with the nose down.
Absolutely, and only 2% of the men's open field got a 2 on this hole today. 2%. It's a difficult hole.
And that's short, kicks up. I don't recall who it was I had a wager with, but I know I need to cash it in because somebody said that this hole wouldn't get 2'd this weekend. So if you were that sucker that took that bet, reach out to me, please. I think you owe me something.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people are going to jump at that opportunity.
It has been deuced.
Yes, correct. That's what we're saying. Yes. And the spotter trying to correct me, saying that it has been deuced, and it's exactly what I knew would happen. I knew there would be at least a couple throughout the weekend, and I believe we've seen 2 of them today. I'm not sure how many in the previous 2 rounds. 2 today at least. And Nikko is on the far left side, pinched up against the Upper Park Designs wall, and still yet to Conrad. Depending on how much he has between him and the basket, he is relatively flat with it, and he's able to throw this is a pretty good position.
Absolutely. It looks like he'll have one small, not a very strong tree that he'll have to contend with. But if he can get a clean swing, I mean, distance won't be an issue here. James throws putters very well. So I look for him to get up and down.
It looks like he's just playing for a pitch out here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that little tree is just enough in his way where he doesn't feel like he can get a full swing and commit to the shot to reach the green.
And that's got to sit down. It's heading toward the OB, and he's safe, and he'll actually have a good-looking putt from there. How challenges our players, it unfortunately also challenges our cellular signal. So we're going to try to stay in the best possible positions. Seems as if it says and a moment later it's no good, so we'll see if we can prop up in a couple. And from the other side of the fairway, Nicholas Masters has thrown his approach shot, and great speed finding the wood chips. And we talked about it at length yesterday, that this is a new retaining wall that was built. Todd Dodge, along with Dave and the rest of the crew, makes for a beautiful set of landscaping out here on a very tough hole.
Yeah, it's so crazy because this is one of the most picturesque holes probably on the course, and one of the most demanding. I mean, it's, 390 feet or so? But so difficult to reach, so difficult to approach with any sort of touch if you're not in just perfect drive. And I think of what Nikko is experiencing right now. His second shot looked like he was just playing to the flat part of the fairway, give himself maybe a long outside chance at a 3, but he caught a tree on the left side of the fairway and then rolled much farther down the left side of the fairway. So he's pinched up against the wall and will have to either do something extremely creative or extremely aggressive to reach the green and give himself a look at what will now be a par 4.
And he's
bogey 4.
And he was about to take one of the most crazy shots I've ever seen. Instead, he does exactly as we saw from Conrad, pitches out to a very similar position. He, for a moment, was lining up and out over the water shot, which in the near decade that I've been coming to this event, I've never seen someone actually opt to go out and over the water during that shot. And I see what he was lining up. I just think it would have been very low percentage. Again, we're going to perch up on this hillside to hopefully maintain our signal. Yesterday we found that if we get onto the green or get much closer down near the basket, we are challenged. And I don't need any more challenges in my life, Robert.
That's right. We've had a lot of shots thrown from our other competitors before we've arrived at Gregg Barsby's drive. He is in a picture-perfect position for an easy up and down 3, maybe even an outside chance at a 2.
Can he keep the magic going? Oh, and he knew it. He's looking aside. He knew that he put a really good run to that. And Barsby trying to keep the fireworks going here on hole number 9.
I love that run by Barsby. It's really fun to watch a player who feels like they're on top of their game. You know, he got the ace earlier, deuce on hole 6, had a couple of strokes since, but back on. And when you're feeling good about your game, it feels like, you know, you can be aggressive and then not pay the price if you miss. And I think that's what Gregg was going for there. That couldn't have been more than a foot or two from cashing to.
Oh, and somehow that scooped in and out. I'm not sure exactly how much metal and chain that grabbed, but you would think that was going to fall in, and it just seems like Nikko's luck is, well, it's the bad kind right now.
Yeah, that was an inch or two from being a fantastic bogey save. And from 2 difficult positions, I mean, you can't ask for much more on this hole.
That needs to sit down. It's heading toward the OB. I didn't think it was going to have enough power. That was a good run, but hits off the front of the basket. And I believe, unfortunately, the averages are going to increase. We've seen 62% of our players play hole number 9 above par. And after this hole is complete, with our leader card included, I think those numbers are going to go up to at least like 90%-ish. Okay, maybe 63%. But again, 62% of the competitors here playing this above par. This is such a demanding hole, and the argument will rage on whether it's really a par 3 or a par 4.
Absolutely.
But if this is a par 3, well, we could argue that hole 10 that we'll get to next is really not a par 4. So I guess those kind of equal out in that way.
They just trade spots.
Oh my gosh, Nicholas with a mind lapse for just a moment. He may or may not have seen the gallery off in the distance, but that is a very unfortunate break for Nicholas. Lapsing concentration. Nikko will be tapping in. We're going to have a lengthy walk over to 10. As we know, 11, 12, and 13 really do not allow us to give you full coverage, so we'll check in with some other competitors and other things going on around the course. Stay tuned. We'll see you on hole 10 in just a few moments right here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
For driving with power or into a headwind, Vibram designed a distance driver with amazing glide and a strong, predictable fade. It is the ideal disc for big arms, forehand drives, and smooth right-to-left finishes. Introducing the Olace from Vibram. Durability, grip, performance.
For looks, for life.
feeling.
Catches, kind of. Johnny, you ready? Well, bring it back now. Gregg's ready.
No, you guys are good.
And Robert, I know you are new to actually walking around the course. Gregg Barsby throwing hole 10's new fairway, about as good as you can. Goes with the forehand. This is a shortened tee from what we've seen in years past.
Right.
They've actually changed this up, and we're not playing to the iconic castle position. And as I was saying back on hole 9 a few moments ago, if hole 9 is considered a par 3, well, hole 10 here, they're calling it a par 4. So those two will kind of swap, because you should see a lot of threes here, which would be considered a birdie.
So this would play kind of like a 3.5, I guess. You're not really going to see a lot of twos on this hole. Is that a fair assumption?
Well, I could assume a lot, or I could check out UDisc and sound a little bit smarter. I'm guessing this actually is going to play easier than 3.5, but let's take a look on UDisc.
Absolutely. James Conrad has opted for a T-bird turnover. I'm pretty sure Gregg's disc was a serious Scorpius that he threw on a forehand. And James's drive is a little bit farther on the right side of the fairway, but should be looking at the basket, I believe.
Well, and you nailed it right on the head. Hole 10, the least difficult according to par, measuring in at 3.5. So this plays a half stroke easier than what the par is. So it is, again, 56% of our competitors are finding birdies here on hole number 10, 520 feet.
Right, it's one of those holes that it's almost a gimme par 4, but you couldn't call it a par 3 because there aren't any twos. And that's not proof positive that it's a par 3, but it's difficult to call a hole like this, 520 feet in the woods, a par 3 when there are no twos on it.
All right, let's see how the women did from a different set of tees earlier today.
With 27 holes to go, Valarie Jenkins is putting on a clinic as to how to win a tournament. Get a lead the first round and play solid and consistent the rest of the way. All pars, one birdie. Catrina and Paige are pushing, trying to catch her, carding multiple birdies and multiple bogeys, and we end up in the same place we started. Here's Paige Pierce's second shot on this dog leg left to right. She gets hung up in a tree. It was a good run, just a little bit wide. Valarie Jenkins gets a nice skip. She's got about 20 feet to an elevated basket for par. Catrina Allen, disco. Paige has been right on 3 or 4 of her longer putts as Valarie makes it in for birdie. That's something that we would think that she'd be able to correct. We'll see what happens on the back 9.
So, Robert, now that we are approximately halfway through the course, what have you thought of Maple Hill Gold thus far, now that you're actually here in person?
It's beautiful, and I mean, I could have told you it was beautiful because of the videos that I've watched on it, the live coverage. I mean, I was just talking to Steve Dodge about it earlier. I have Vibram Open DVDs from probably back to 2008 or so, and so I feel like I've watched this course and know it well enough, but being here, everything is... it's much bigger than I thought. It's like when you're playing Super Mario and you get to the big world and everything is way bigger than you're used to. that's honestly how this feels. It's no wonder that our players love coming out here so much. The tournament environment is great, but this course is, world class.
And Barsby's trying to assess. It looks like he may have to go to a forehand. He's got one lined up here in his hands, trying to go out and around. Of course, angle of release is very crucial here because you don't want this to catch an edge, somehow find itself rolling back down the hill. And as that comes down nice and flat, very effective forehand there by Gregg Barsby. Again, just to give you guys the heads up, like previous years and yesterday, we will be standing down and or moving around to try and get as much action as we can find over the next few holes. We really can't move into the green found on hole number 11. Hole 12 has virtually no signal, and 13 also challenges us. So we're going to have a few interviews. We'll also have a few updates and information from around the course. You'll be able to see what the women did on holes 10, 11, 12, and 13. And wherever there's some action somewhere else on the course, possibly behind the beautiful basket on hole number 14, we'll try and give you as much action as we can as our lead card pushes through those holes.
We were unable to tell this from the tee, but it looks like this fairway has received the forehand shots a little bit better than it has the backhand shots. Both Nikko's drive and James's drive look like they've come up just a hair short of the preferred landing zone, while Gregg's forehand and Nick's forehand have put themselves in great spots. Nikko says, I don't really care where I land in the fairway, I'm just going to try and put it by the basket, and looks like he's done that within the circle for sure, probably within 15 feet or so.
Nicholas looks like he's going to be lining up next to throw.
And Nicholas has a harp in his hand. That's the upshot disc that he's been leaning on for his forehands, and I believe he threw a Biofusion Defender off the box for that long forehand shot. It's just low and right out of Nicholas's hand. It looks like he didn't quite commit to the angle and speed that he needed. He will likely be inside the circle or close to it, but this is an elevated basket, which always adds just one extra degree of difficulty.
And a moment ago you spoke of the disc that, that we saw Nicholas throwing. We also see representatives here, of course, from Innova and James Conrad and also Gregg Barsby. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, Nikko Locastro, who at this moment seems to be throwing a mixed bag. And
it's like the most mixed bag. I saw he's been putting with a dagger sometimes. I know that he's been throwing Firebirds and Destroyers. I saw a Gateway mid-range in there just a moment ago, I believe an Element. And so, yeah, he's got all sorts of stuff in his bag.
That mixed bag of tricks is what he carries around with him. Very, very competitive and passionate player out here on the course. Has not necessarily wowed us as we're kind of used to seeing. And yesterday he pushed himself through the course. He obviously entered with a good enough score to keep him here on the lead card, but I've yet to see any real fireworks or anything that's truly amazing or exceptional out of Nikko Locastro. We'll see if he can light things up on the back half.
Absolutely, and it's interesting when you watch Nikko's rounds. He's obviously an extremely talented player, but it seems like his rounds are either very, very hot or just kind of okay. There aren't a lot of just solid, steady rounds, and this round is probably about as close to steady as he's had. Few bogeys, few birdies. I'm interested to see if he can turn it on for the last few holes.
And he did a little dancing within that that patch of trees there, but ultimately finds his spot, dials it up, and brings it in.
Absolutely. It looked as if his putter had ended up short from our perspective, but Nick did go a little bit long. Doesn't matter for his scorecard as he'll be riding down a birdie 3. James Conrad is putting from a similar distance and almost a similar obstacle as he's got his right leg into a Christmas tree, looking at a straddle putt for his birdie 3.
And found underneath the tree is the Christmas gift of a birdie there for James Conrad.
A Christmas gift, he says. Oh dear. I will say...
Sorry,
James,
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for being conscious of all other celebrations. James had great focus there. As the child made a noise in his backswing, so great focus for him to square up and put that putt in the basket. Gregg and Nikko will do the same.
We'll move on to hole 11. We'll be back in a moment.
Always thrown Innova and competed with Innova. I don't think I'd be playing the sport if it wasn't for creating the disc itself and then just taking it to the next level over and over and over again. How great the discs are themselves. It's really gained my trust, and I don't think I would be here without Innova. I don't see myself doing anything else.
This is Dan, and this is Tyler. Dan and Tyler like disc, and they like beer, so they combine them in a rigorous scientific process. Disc Golf, a card game that challenges your disc skills, drinking ability, and your friendships. With 3 categories and over 50 individual cards, mix and match. Get rid of cards you don't like, or make your own rules. Disc Golf is truly American.
For looks, for life, for Lincoln.
Good call. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Just stuck it in there. Catch it for free? Mm-hmm. And at 780 feet, you can certainly unload here, giving it everything you got. You need to get past this set of Christmas trees if you're looking at trying to get up and down for a birdie, though.
Absolutely. Gregg has gone with the same star boss that he threw on hole 1 with a nice hyzer flip. This is the first even semblance of wind we've had today, but it's less than 5 miles an hour. Shouldn't affect our players much at all.
That is pushing over to the right side. He's going to want that to finish left. Looks like it's fighting back toward the open area. And long hair don't care. James Conrad getting it done out there.
Absolutely crushed on that destroyer right there. I believe Nikko has a destroyer in his hand as well.
And I was just going to say, if we saw the 360 on hole 1, there's no reason not to have a 360 here on hole number 10. Hole number 11's tee. That also, though, finishes to the left. Could have used a little more turn on that.
Nicholas has opted for a defender again for his long distance shots.
And a hyzer flip that gets up and turns just a bit. Could have used some more to get the D. And he'll move on down the fairway. We'll watch our competitors as they head off down hole number 11. And of course, as I mentioned, we'll be rejoining them in just probably after 2 or 3 holes or so. We'd like to say again, thank you guys for joining us and for tuning in. Robert, as we said just a hole or two ago, this is your first time officially visiting, well, in person,
right,
the Maple Hill course instead of virtually and online. And we'd like to thank all of you for joining us and hope that you're out there liking and sharing the video so everyone can see what's going on. Has there been any surprises or anything that you didn't necessarily expect now that we're 10 holes into the round?
I don't know. It's so hard to judge how rounds are going to go out here. As we've talked about, there are a lot of sparse, thin trees out here and not a lot of undergrowth. And so if you get a high kick off a tree, that disc may not stop for, 100 feet, 150 feet, and that can just put you in a world of hurt. And so we've seen some really awful kicks like that, but then we've also seen some really pure lines from a lot of our competitors today. I didn't really know what to expect. I know that it's awesome. I'll tell you that. If you haven't made it out, you need to. This is a beautiful piece of property. I don't know if we're going to have any daylight left when the round's over, but I'm very highly considering throwing just a few holes just to, see how difficult it is. Because I'm watching how difficult it is, but until you throw it, you don't really know for sure.
Well, it has been great out here. Of course, this is, again, round 3. We're going to be concluding the event tomorrow. We're looking at roughly a 3 o'clock Eastern start, so make sure that you join us. There is a threat of rain in the forecast that may push through by the afternoon's round, and selfishly, that's what we're hoping it does.
Absolutely.
The women and a few other competitors may be challenged by that weather in the morning, but we're hoping that it pushes through for the broadcast in the afternoon so we can get the full, complete round in. That's the last thing we need, is another tournament somehow shortened by inclement weather this year.
Yeah, that would be really, really rough. So, yeah, we're just hoping that, rain is fine, just no lightning, pass through quickly, and let's get a full round in tomorrow. That's what we want.
Well, we're excited. And then real quickly, on the rest of the week, there's a couple things that DD, who is a supporting partner here of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, there's a few DD-based events taking place in this area in the next few days?
Absolutely. So we've got a couple of things coming up. I just started working for DD about 6 months ago, moved from Austin to Emporia, Kansas. It has been a fantastic move. We've really enjoyed it so far. But if you are in the Northeast, we've got a couple of events for you. One is on Monday. That's the Sandbaggers Ball out at Pleasant Hill Disc Golf in Maine, and I've only heard good things about that course. We're going to have some of our top professionals out there: Paige Pierce, Ricky Wysocki, Drew Gibson, Eric Oakley, Tina Stenitis. I register in the Open Division.
You?
I will not call myself a top pro, but Jonathan Ray will be out there. I don't know if I said Eric McCabe. He certainly qualifies as a top professional. But lots of people out there, and we're going to do a clinic and a Flex Start seats here out there. And then on Tuesday, we're going to do another one of our Luck of the Draw doubles events that we've just started doing recently, and those are going to be with Paige Pierce and Ricky Wysocki. This one on Tuesday is going to be at the Hollows course in New Hampshire, and that's going to feature Eric McCabe as well, as he's a world champ as well. And that's an Eric McCabe designed course, and I've only heard good things about that. So we're looking for Ricky and Paige to do some more of these Luck of the Draw skins doubles matches throughout the year. And if you're following the tour, if there's a Pro Tour stop, if there's a national tour coming to your area, reach out to them and say that you would like to have a Luck of the Draw doubles match there, because they are so much fun. They select a new partner on every hole, and you get to play that hole with Paige Pierce or Ricky Wysocki, or on Tuesday, Eric McCabe as your partner. And we've already had some great results and great turnouts and some really, really cool moments from these Luck of the Draw matches. So we are really excited to continue those throughout the rest of this year and hopefully on into the future.
All right. Well, as he said, the next few days out here in the Northeast, there will be some more action taking place. We're excited that Dynamic Disc is a partner here of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and we're excited to have you here
Yeah.
We've got about a round and a half left before we conclude the 2017 Vibram Open, so make sure you stay tuned. We're going to listen to a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with more action from the course, and we'll also check in with the women's coverage as we move through holes 11, 12, and 13. We'll be back in a few moments.
Spectacular views like these and championship level play like this can mean only one thing. It's time for Fall Fest at Smuggler's Notch Resort. 2 days of disc golf, craft beer, mountain biking, and rock climbing. Featuring live music from Cat Wright, Red Barat, and more. Also the 2017 Discraft Green Mountain Championship, the biggest disc golf event in New England. Special group rates on lodging are available. Call today and stay while you play.
So here we go on to the longest hole on the course for the ladies, the 670-foot par 4 hole 11. Let's start this with Jessica Weiss. She's on the chase card, but she is playing very well. Through 10 holes, she's had 4 birdies, a bogey, and a very tough double bogey, but she's currently sitting in 4th place. The beautiful tee at hole 11, and now we're ready to go for Valarie Jenkins on the tee. So Valarie has 2 birdies on the day. Vanessa Van Dyken also has 2 birdies on the day. Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen have 3 and 4 birdies respectively. This is a show of exactly how you need to play the game of disc golf. You play consistent, you play steady, you make sure you get your pars, you don't put up any big numbers, and when the course gives you a chance, you take the birdie. And that is what Valarie is doing. Here's Vanessa Van Dyken. All of the ladies so far have cleared the trees, although Valarie just barely. She might be on the edge and have a very awkward lie. And Vanessa Van Dyken, here is Vanessa's second shot. Well, I think she's going to be happy with that. She gave herself a look at birdie. She's got about 25 feet to the elevated basket here on hole 11. Valarie Jenkins just wants to get this close. Oh, way left, early out of her hand. That awkward stance clearly had an impact. She is left. She'll have a relatively easy up and down to save the par. Catrina Allen gunning for the green. Perfect placement. She's got 12 feet for birdie. Paige Pierce's second shot. Oh, that's interesting. That's long. It drops off a little after the pin. She's got about 25 to 30 feet. A great run by Vanessa Van Dyken for birdie. Call it a par. Paige Pierce for birdie. Well, she finally misses left, I suppose. Catrina Allen for birdie. Heart. What about love? Paige Pierce for par. Count it. So Catrina Allen is going to be carding the only birdie here on hole 11. She'll take the box, gain a stroke on Valarie, and if history is any indicator, she'll give it back with a bogey later on in the round. Let's see if she can avoid that and keep the chase on. She's now down by 5.
Wow. All right, I'd like to.
Disc Golf Center. We strive to provide the best customer service and value. With our live inventory of over 20,000 discs, we have the widest selection and the best prices. Check out discgolfcenter.com to see what we have to offer, including free shipping within the United States on all orders over $12 and a customer rewards program that gets better over time. Visit discgolfcenter.com, the world's largest disc golf store.
I feel for anybody that has bad days just because we all have them. So I always try to like tell people like, you know, let's just keep going, keep moving. It's just one shot. The same thing I would tell myself. Try to give them a little reinforcement even as a competitor, because the better your competitors play, you normally, you know, you're going to try to play better than that also. So just try to positive vibe, push something out there and give them a little word of confidence.
I try to encourage them. It's tough. It's really tough because we've all been there where, you know, you kind of get into this cycle of despair. You know, it's like disc golf, that happens in disc golf to all of us, and you know what it feels like, and it's tough to know the right thing to say to somebody.
It's just a situational thing. If it's one of my best friends, I'm going to try to help him out and be like, hey, come on, man, you got this. And if it's someone I don't know, I'm kind of just going to be like, well, I mean, you're kind of on your own. I don't know you. I'm not going to approach you like, hey, you got it. You know, it's a hard thing to help someone with when you don't know them.
Can that affect your game when it happens?
Yeah, I mean, there's people who freak out all the time and are known for that, and it affects people in the grouop, but sometimes you just have to look past it and just worry about yourself and let them do what they're going to do, because they're going to do it no matter what.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I actually, like, I'm a big advocate of kind of like a good mojo amongst the group and how that can positively influence everybody. So I always try and root for everybody on the card. I think if you're ever in a position where you're rooting for somebody or not rooting for somebody, and then they do good stuff, it can negatively impact you. And so it's always about trying to keep a positive energy on the card, and, you know, ultimately all moving up on, you know. I actually think that's a really important thing, and people you're playing with and everybody staying positive, getting along, rooting for each other, that kind of feeling that everybody has, I think, leads to success.
That's what we do now?
Oh, it's beautiful. All right, welcome back, everyone. Robert McCall and Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. Our lead card, I see Nikko hustling up the fairway here, or should I say the walkway, to join us on hole 13. We're going to get back with them in just a few moments. We don't have signal here at the green, so we're going to be able to follow the tee shots, and then we're going to get some action from our other cards on hole number 14. Robert, you ready for an ace?
Absolutely. I mean, any ace is cool, but, I mean, this would be a cool one. You know what? Just any old ace. I'll settle for any hole.
We've got one already.
That's right.
Let's see what happens here on hole number 13. You know, we've talked about it a couple different times out here, Robert, but this is about as calm as it has ever been at Maple Hill, and that's definitely going to play to their advantage here on this hole number 13 downhill shot.
Absolutely. This is 405 down to the pin. I would assume it plays probably closer to about 330, 340, but it's really difficult to control the angle on such a steep decline, and so I assume we'll see a lot of probably mid-ranges from our players, just on straight lines that won't deviate much to the right or the left, and so it really just tests their ability to hit a line.
Been able to make that one. Definitely should have been able to hit chains. Sink one.
Greg? 4. James? 4. Nikko?
4.
And looks like that turned over on him. He's still on the hillside, but he's going to have a relatively open line, and that's critical here.
Nikko looks like he was choosing between a T-bird and I believe a gateway element, and he's chosen the element, just turned it a bit to the right. He'll have some trees to contend with over there. I feel like we say that a lot out here.
A trusty eagle here by Gregg Barsby, however, that turns over to the left side. We've yet to see someone penetrate the gap here.
Nick's opted for a judge, and he's waiting for a late flip. It did hold incredibly straight for the later part of the flight, and then just got a bad kick left.
So as our players will move down the fairway here on hole number 13, this large downhill shot that they were just at, we're eventually going to move into position on the tee of 14, where we'll catch back up with them. We may have some action over on the green of 14 in just a few moments. We hope that you're enjoying it, as we have got Gregg Barsby sitting at 18 under par, James Conrad at 16, Nicholas Masters at 12, and Nikko Locastro at 9 under. However, if you're checking the UDisc live scoring, you're seeing that the card for tomorrow would be very different if we were to end the round right now. We see Nate Sexton trying to run up and catch into this leader card action. So we'll see how these guys finish out. We'll be back with you in a few moments from the tee or green of hole number 14.
So we go to hole 12. Valarie Jenkins leads by 5 after Catrina Allen's birdie on hole 11. Here's Catrina Allen on the tee. A beautiful drive. You want to get this shot, if you can, over those trees and then have a look up and over that rise. The approach shot is where it's at on hole 12. The first shot, you just pump it as hard and straight as you can and get yourself in a good position. Valarie Jenkins leaves that potentially a little bit to the right, but I suspect she'll be able to manage just fine. And Paige pulls that quite a bit to the right. It's going to be an interesting approach shot from that position. And Vanessa leaves that a little bit short. Doesn't have quite the distance of the other players on this card. Here's her second shot. She's going basically straight over the right edge of that little green leaf hanging off to the right. Perfect, right through that leaf, and it fades off left. She's right in the alley. She's got a really good look to go up and down and card the par on this difficult hole 12. Here's Valarie Jenkins' second shot. Right in the maw. A great shot by Valarie Jenkins. She should also have a relatively easy up and down. Catrina Allen attacks it. A beautiful little action to the right. Catrina Allen's going to be down there probably within 60 feet, maybe even having a look at birdie. And Paige Pierce with the farthest drive of the bunch. She needs that to turn right. It fights through, but gets tangled up. Paige relaxing on the stone. What was that movie? Romancing the Stone? I don't think Paige was romancing that stone. Vanessa Van Dyken, a very nice shot. She's got about 15 for par. Catrina Allen, third shot. She just wants to get this close. She's got to try to find the right alley to take. She decides the hyzer route is the way. I would say I have to agree. She puts that 5 feet away for a drop-in par. Valarie Jenkins, third shot. Nice up. And Paige Pierce actually has a run at birdie. Paige has now had 5 missed putts. If her putting game was on, she would be very close to Valarie, and there might be some serious action. It'd be interesting to see someone threaten Valarie, see if she has to change her game plan at all. Vanessa Van Dyken, a very solid putter. Well done. And Catrina Allen for par. Wow. Catrina Allen gives back her birdie much faster than she had hoped. And that is unfortunate. Val Jenkins taps in. Paige Pierce will tap in. And we will be moving on to hole 13, one of the most difficult holes on the course. Where you need all the control and power you can handle. Valarie Jenkins leads by 5. We go to hole 13. Valarie Jenkins maintains her 5-stroke lead. Her drive looks good, drifts a little bit to the right. Gets a good kick. She's right in the middle. She should have a good look at up and down for the par. Paige Pierce. She trusts that disc to track right. Maybe fade a little left at the end. It does not. She's got about a 45 look for birdie. A great drive by Paige Pierce. Catrina Allen, that does not quite flip up enough. Fades off to the left. She'll be forced to go up and down and just card the par. And she does. And Valarie Jenkins puts it 15 feet away. A nice shot by Valarie. Paige Pierce for birdie off the top. And a horrendous roll. Paige Pierce has this for par. And has this for bogey. And is carding a double bogey on hole 13. Valarie Jenkins cards the bogey. Catrina makes a move on hole 13.
Good.
And welcome back to hole number 14. There's been quite a few debates as to when you can pick a signature hole out on a course. Obviously, this is one of the top contenders. There's so many gorgeous holes, but this has to be one of the top 2 or 3.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful tee shot, but also extremely daunting. I mean, water carry for 95, 98% of the flight. You can choose to cut your right hand backhand hyzer off early and play into the woods on the left and just pitch up for a 3, but you can even get in trouble in the woods on the left. And so I'm interested to see if we'll see any aggressive play or if we'll just see people playing safe and trying to take their 3 on this hole.
I hope that you've been enjoying the coverage of the women for the entire round up into this point. We'll be picking back up with them as we walk over to the approach shots here on 14, and I think we're ready to go. He needs that to push left. It looks like it's going to carry. I'm confident it's going to find the green, and it's done just that. It checks. What a shot by James Conrad. That is perfectly placed.
Extreme amount of trust in his disc right there. James put it on the exact line he wanted and wasn't scared of the water at all.
And Nikko knows that's going to finish to the left. That was hyzering just out of his hands. There are spectators on that left side.
I believe this is a Thunderbird for Gregg. He's played a straighter line instead of playing it out over the water quite as much. It's gotten a nice little check. Looks like he'll be right around the circle's edge for his look at a birdie two, staring at the water. Nicholas has gone with a villain, and he needs that to get left or get a big skip off the water. And he has found land, in fact.
All right, the women played from a shorter tee earlier today. Let's check in with them now on hole 14.
We move on to hole 14, going over the water. Catrina Allen on the tee. She puts that way out. She's trusting it to come back. Kaboom! She's set up for a birdie. That was a beautiful shot by Catrina. Valarie Jenkins, who's been playing safe the entire round, continues to do so. She will have a good look at up and down for par. Vanessa Van Dyken hyzers in, rolls underneath the log. She is inbounds by about 2 inches. Very nice shot by Vanessa. Paige Pierce just over the basket. She's left with 25 feet. That'll be an interesting touch shot. See if she can make that putt. Here we go. She's been off the basket all day. Finally hits a good putt. Well done, Paige. Nice birdie. Valarie Jenkins for par. She loses a stroke to Kat and Paige, but she maintains her 4-stroke lead. Moving on.
Achieving greatness requires hundreds of days of preparation, which is why the people at Vibram have worked for over 3 years to make their first ever distance driver the longest and straightest in the game. Introducing the new Vibram Lace, helping you achieve your greatness.
And I see James Conrad is deep of the basket. He's up toward what the pathway of hole 7 is. Also here on the left side, I see Nikko Locastro, and it looks like Nicholas Masters may be next to putt. One of my favorite parts about hole 14, besides the beautiful tee, the very challenging green, is then also the gallery that has a great position to spectate here on hole number 14's green. And a solid run. He had an uphill look at that just before Nicholas had putt. A few moments earlier, we saw Nikko Locastro, who was way off on the left side. He had really no other option but to lay up from about 100 feet to the pin. This is Barsby from 28 feet. And if you're from California, you'd be telling Greg to drop now. That's what Gregg Barsby with a beautiful birdie on hole number 14. And Conrad fighting to stay on this leader card as we move into the final day tomorrow. That's going to push him to 17 under par. There's a charging Ricky Wysocki, a charging Nate Sexton, and things are getting good, as they may say, or I just make that up. We're going to move on to 15 right here at Maple Hill. James Conrad asking for the miss. However, that's going to hit high right tree, kick to the left, and travel
quite a ways backwards. That was a really rough kick for James.
Barsby's looking for that eagle to flip up on him. Carry a little bit left as it tracks toward the pin.
Did he switch back to the Firebird there? It looked like he was maybe trying to ace that.
No, that was his Eagle. I believe it's an Eagle L or Eagle X or Eagle XL
okay,
if you're larger.
It was a joke. Okay, I know what disc it was. Gosh, man. I just thought he would ace it, you know? Whatever.
I just wish I was an XL.
It's okay. Oh, and Nikko says, oh my goodness, out of his hand, and he gets a brutal kick to the right side. It looks as if anything right or left and short is a world of hurt, and that's what I think Nikko's going to find over there.
And we hear the speed and velocity as he throws his mid or putter straight up the gut.
I think that was his putter. Great shot.
Let's see how Valarie Jenkins and crew handled this hole earlier today.
And here we go to hole 15. Valarie Jenkins' lead has been cut to 4. Catrina Allen puts it right through the thin gap, but not enough mustard. She comes up about 75 feet short. Paige Pierce puts plenty of mustard on it. It hangs right and kicks right. 2 feet away from a beautiful shot. And Valarie Jenkins goes wide right. Finds the local route, gets a great skip. She's 5 feet from the pin. A great smile on Valarie. She knows she just got a little lucky right there. Cat lays up for the par. Paige also lays up for the par. And Valarie Jenkins takes that stroke back very quickly. We are moving on to hole 16. Let's see how the men finished up on hole 15.
And right now I think Nikko or Conrad would gladly trade in their shots for how Valarie Jenkins put it down the fairway. What a shot.
Yeah, they're in really difficult spots. It may be a little bit difficult to tell from the coverage, but from the tee, there's a decline and then an incline back up to the basket, and just short in the fairway is a tough spot, much less to the right or to the left, where the trees are a lot thicker and a lot more populous. And so it's both Nikko and James are going to have a really difficult time scrambling, I believe.
Nikko has relied heavily when we've seen him get into trouble today on this element by Gateway. Seems to be his go-to mid-range at the moment. It's been interesting watching him throughout the years. We've seen him throw a number of Gateway discs. He's thrown Latitude discs. He's also thrown some MVP. He's thrown Innova. He's thrown a lot of different discs throughout his playing career. And he is chopping through the fairway. And he's not in position to save the par, but at least he should be able to get it up and down for the bogey.
Yeah, he doesn't look really happy with it, but that's really all you can ask for from over there.
And now we're going to move over to the far left side of the fairway. James Conrad hit a tree and then he kicked far left. As Robert was saying, it's one thing to be short on this hole, but when you are off the fairway left or right, you have just that much more to contend with. Again, no issues with any kind of wind out here at the moment. We haven't really seen any to speak of all day. And we're hoping that the rain can stay at bay or at least pass through by this time tomorrow. I also see the beautiful Dana Vici appears to be off the course. I'm not sure how the third card is already done competing. What card were you on, Dana?
Try the 30th card. That was a burn, and then standing next to my replacement, Robert, it's a double burn. And I really didn't want to run into you, but here we are.
Have you looked at Robert's hair? Come on.
He's handsome, I'll admit it, but what do we got here? James Conrad. looking to get up and down from the woods. This is low percentage par from here.
And that's carried right. He's gone with the roller, as Dana was saying, a low percentage shot. But he's trying to make the best that he can with it, trying to, again, stay on this leader card for tomorrow. We're going to take a look at the scores, try and keep you guys up to date. Nikko Locastro is very quickly getting up and into place. But we'll take a look at what we're seeing for potential lead card action tomorrow for our fourth and final round. Gregg Barsby is still your leader as Nikko is getting ready. Trying to go right through the thin gap there is Locastro.
Yeah, an extremely technical gap, and Nikko punches his discs in anger. He's going to be really frustrated with a 4 here, but and with that tee shot, I don't know how you could expect much else at this point.
I'm not sure that was a punch in anger. I believe that he just thought they were a little too domey, and he wanted to
flatten them out
potentially.
A little bit. Not so much overstability. Pro tip: don't do that while you're on the course. It doesn't help a lot.
So, again, looking at this lead card potential for tomorrow, we've got Barsby and Wysocki both sitting at 19 under par, Conrad at 17, along with Nate Sexton.
And James, from a really difficult position on the left side of the fairway through what looked like a good outshot to us, but it was going to be really difficult to reach circle 1 from there. And he had a bid from about 50 that just came out a bit high from his hand, so it looks as if James will also have to settle for a bogey 4 here.
A little earlier today, we saw that Nate Dawson came in with the hottest score of 9 under par. Right now, Ricky Wysocki is 9 under through 17. Wow. And what a birdie by Nicholas. You confirm that was a putter?
Yeah, just putter. He threw a prime judge up the middle, and then his putter is a dagger. That's a great birdie on this hole. Well done by Nick. He's not going down without a fight at this point. Great putt for birdie by Gregg Barsby, who nearly aced the basket and found himself about 20 feet downhill and right side of the basket. That's Barsby is really putting it together a really solid round here. Ace, some difficult birdies, playing pretty clean golf so far.
And just moments before Gregg Barsby put in his birdie putt, for literally just a few seconds, Ricky Wysocki had taken the outright lead. He has birdied 6 out of the last 6 holes, 7 out of the last 8 holes, and finds himself now tied with Gregg Barsby after Barsby converts as well. They are at 20 under par. We're moving on to hole 16. We'll see if Barsby can pull out in front.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Oh, just getting past the main tree on this right side, but he does catch a tree that was hidden behind it. Nicholas will be second to throw. That's turning over, kissing off the tree. Barsby just missed, and he gets some forward progress. That'll work.
That's a nice little redirection there. It's not like he was going to be in a really terrible spot, but it was certainly turned over too much. Good little tree kick.
And his T-bird is fighting up the right side fairway. I talked about alternative fairways. Sometimes players intentionally go off that right side gap. Looks like it'll work. Tough to see. That disc is relatively dark, so it's kind of tough to see just how accurate that was. Nikko forked the tee. Getting back in line with the white disc. We saw 3 white drivers, a great kick by Nikko, and boom! We're moving on. Let's see how the women did on 16.
We move on to hole 16. Valarie Jenkins back to her 5-stroke lead over Catrina Allen. This is a tunnel shot if ever there was one, and Valarie pulls that off to the right, but there is a local route over there. She should have a decent up and down, and Catrina Allen goes off left. She is in trouble. That is going to be a very difficult, although I think Paige might have an even more difficult second shot. Here's Catrina Allen's second shot. How did she cut that corner? An amazing shot by Catrina Allen. She gets out inside circle 1. That might be the shot of the year by Catrina Allen. Paige Pierce also gets close. She's got about 35 to 40 for the birdie. And here's Valarie Jenkins' second shot. Crazy close. So Valarie's all set for the birdie. Paige misses the birdie, and Catrina Allen, with an insane second shot, saves the birdie. Well done, Catrina Allen. Not losing any ground here. Still down by 5.
And Gregg Barsby will be first to approach. He's got what I was going to say is a relatively clean line at the basket, but if you're going to get a tree kick on 16, it looks like it's going to work in your favor.
Extremely generous tree kicks so far. Great breaks for our lead card. And for Nikko, with a really bad break that he had off the tree on 15, it's nice to get one back right here.
Again, a few moments ago, we were saying that Nate Doss had the hottest round of what I believe was the entire tournament at 9 under par. A few moments later, Ricky Wysocki completed his round, pushing him to 10 under par and fighting for the lead. That Wysocki guy's pretty good.
Yeah, you know what those two guys have in common, Nate Dawson and Ricky Wysocki? Well, they're both world champions, right? They're both pretty tall.
Multiple-time world champions.
Yes, they're both pretty tall. But they're also both junior world champions. And just a little plug for an event that's going to be coming up next year. We've got the Junior World Championships in Emporia, Kansas, 2018, 2019, and 2020. So we are really excited about the development of the youth of our sport. So make sure and check out those Junior World Championships in the upcoming years.
James Conrad has about 80 feet, and it looked to be just about enough power, maybe a little short. But if you're looking at anything inside 100 feet on this hole, you're going to be pretty happy with your tee shot, and very happy with his tree shot would be Nikko Locastro as he kissed off that tree, putting him within 15 of the basket. Nicholas Masters is opting for a forehand.
I want to be mad at you for saying tree shot, but it's kind of well played. Like, a little bit well played.
Every once in a while. Earlier I was worried about, kicking Steve Dodge off of the broadcast. I usually spend so much time having to correct him that I get sidetracked of what's going on.
That's right.
But we're glad to have you, Robert. Looking forward to having you tomorrow. This is Barsby to save his par. Just squeaking it over that edge. Also, you can definitely tell, now we're in a little lower area of the course, but it is at least 10 degrees cooler than what we started this round with. It is starting to have a light chill in the air. It's pushing nearly 7 o'clock, I believe, Eastern time. Correction, about 6:30 Eastern time. And this light chill in the air. We're going to have plenty of daylight to finish up. Nicholas will tap in, and Nikko with a drop-in birdie. We got a long walk. We're moving on to 17.
Spectacular views like these and championship level play like this can mean only one thing. It's time for Fall Fest at Smuggler's Notch Resort. 2 days of disc golf, craft beer, mountain biking, and rock climbing. Featuring live music from Cat Wright, Red Barat, and more. Also the 2017 Discraft Green Mountain Championship, the biggest disc golf event in New England. Special group rates on lodging are available. Call today and stay while you play.
Good too. Might have been next on this hole 8.
Nikko with the tee after the great birdie on hole number 15, 16. And this hole is very difficult as the players are really just trying to throw to a spot that they can't see. And Nikko has smashed that drive. If you are looking off of the tee pad and looking straight ahead at 12 o'clock, you really want to throw it to about the 2 o'clock position. So you want it to turn over, but not too far. That was a great drive by Nikko Locastro. And not making it out of the gap, hitting the tree on the right side is Barsby.
Nick Masters opts for his defender. He's turned it quite a bit and is just waiting for it to fight back. I wanted to check the tee sign to confirm, but it looks like it's 475 feet to clear to the preferred landing zone. So these guys are having to really unload on these discs to get them in the spot they want.
James, who is a former long jumper, takes a huge run up. That's carrying to the right. That may have too much on it. And we will see Gregg Barsby's in a position I've never seen a top-level player get to before. We've got our challenges. Let's see how the women did on 17.
And we advance to hole 17. Valarie Jenkins still leads by 5. Big thanks to DGA for sponsoring the Pro Tour and for providing the mock X baskets on the Maple Hill course. Valarie Jenkins puts her drive in a very good position. She should have a great look at up and down on this dogleg par 4. Catrina Allen goes quite a bit left. She should have a look, but that is going to be a much more difficult approach shot. And Paige Pierce puts herself in good position as well. Valarie Jenkins' approach under the basket. This game's a little too easy sometimes. Here's Catrina's third shot for birdie off the tree under the basket. Call that a par. Paige Pierce. Birdie! Count it. Paige Pierce is keeping pace with Valarie Jenkins here on hole 17. Valarie Jenkins will tap in. And with 19 holes to play, Valarie Jenkins has a commanding lead. We've got Catrina Allen, Paige Pierce, and it looks like Jessica Weiss on the lead card tomorrow. Those ladies are going to need to push to have any chance of getting Valarie out of her game plan.
And Gregg Barsby informing a few of us that we were right in his landing zone. He has buried himself back there. Actually, I'm not sure if our audio signal is carrying all the way to the camera where we're at right now. And Gregg Barsby does not make it out of the opening. Earlier I spoke of alternative fairways, and Barsby is certainly looking for one right now. He's looking for anything that resembles a fairway at the moment. In fact, I am standing out near the opening, and I did not even see that disc reach me. I could hear it, but I did not see it. So Gregg Barsby is still trying to fight out of this rough here on the lower right side. And that looks to be out, and he still will have a very difficult approach. He's going to have an up and down from there, playing up over the hillside. We're going to continue to push toward the landing zone here on hole number 17. And Robert, I'm looking at the board right now. Gregg Barsby finds himself, until this hole is complete at least, finds himself at 20 under par, tied with Ricky Wysocki, and sitting 2 back of them is Nate Sexton and James Conrad.
Yeah, I think barring absolute implosion, we'll see Barsby on the lead card tomorrow. But if he has a bad last couple of holes, it's really hard to know what that score might end up like. It's really hard to know if Gregg should have re-teed or not there. It's never a consideration that you want to have to take into account, but when you're super buried like that, it might have been worth it. It's just really hard to know.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit extreme. He didn't know what he had down there until he got down there.
Yeah, I'm saying after he surveyed the situation, that would be, yeah, that's hard either way.
Barsby's got a turnover. That is a great recovery shot by Gregg Barsby. He has a sigh of relief. James Conrad outstretched to the left. We would have been too short for that one.
Oh, definitely. But with James taking birdie and with Gregg taking bogey here, they'll just be separated by one stroke going into 18.
And Nicholas with a
textbook.
Yeah, a textbook 3 here. I was going to say that Nikko may have a stress-free birdie 3 here as well. He ran at the eagle from long distance. This is for birdie. And he's in. We're going to move on to our 18th hole of the round. Stay tuned. You're watching live disc golf right here at the 2017 Vibram Open. And we're all good here on the 18th hole. All good, buddy. See it. We're all good. He's looking to put a show on for us, and that is filtering left into
Cactus. We're not afraid of.
Come on, get it.
James has played the very aggressive roller line with a Roadrunner. Clipped an early tree and I think clipped another one right behind it. So he's going to have probably a limited amount of options to get near the green for his par 4 here.
And Gregg Barsby trying to get back on track with his boss, the same one he opened the round with, and puts himself nicely into the fairway. The women played from the shorter tee. Let's see how they completed the round here on 18.
So we finish up on hole 18.
There's the man responsible for getting all the women's footage that we put into the Smashbox afternoon broadcast.
A shout out to future Terry from past Terry. Thank you very much. We recorded this earlier this afternoon. Valarie Jenkins puts it up very safely right in the middle of the fairway. Paige Pierce wants another deuce. She gets good distance, but again fades out to the left. She wants that to fade out to the right and give herself a really good look. And Catrina Allen also doesn't quite get enough on that. That fades out left. And let's watch their upshots onto this. Well, Valarie's going to play safe. as she does all weekend. You can't argue with 1 bogey to 5 or 6 birdies. Catrina Allen throws her drive over the green and out of bounds, and Paige Pierce gets on the green. They are going to be flipping positions going into the final round. Valarie Jenkins lays up. She will be carding the easy par, and Catrina Allen for par, just short. So there you have it. Valarie Jenkins in the lead. Paige Pierce, Catrina Allen, Jessica Weiss will be chasing her tomorrow.
And James Conrad really only has the one option of laying up as close as he can to the drop zone, or the string at least, before carrying over onto the green. It may be kind of a good thing. With where he was positioned, it really left no doubt as to what his move was going to be.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He got unlucky that the roller caught those trees, but kind of lucky that it punched through where he still had an open shot at it. So yeah, he should have a pretty easy look at a par 4 here. Nicholas, however, is having some trouble. He's on the left side of the fairway. He's got his felon in his hand, so it looks like this will be a 4-hand upshot.
Same thing. He's just looking to get as far and as close to the green as he can, but come up, of course, short of the OB area that separates the fairway and the island green. And I believe that was actually Barsby's Glow Eagle or Glow Firebird, wasn't it? That he switched up to?
Looks just like it.
All right, maybe they're not sharing a bag, but we are moving down the fairway. It looks like there is a massive gallery that is surrounding 18. We talked about it yesterday. 18 is, in fact, one of the best greens in all of disc golf. Not only does it provide plenty of drama, but it's also amazing for spectating. I think it looks, is it lit over there? Like literally lit? Is that what's going on? I think Night Eyes and some other sponsors are
Christmas-type lights. I don't know what the kids say these days, but, you know, in the most literal sense, yeah, it's lit up a little bit. Sorry to my future children that conversation happened just now. Throw this out of the archives, please.
And nothing but crickets as we watch Nikko try to get onto the green. And wow, what an effort there by Nikko Locastro. Now, no one else from his cart could probably notice, but Nikko clearly stepped on his mini as he walked up and approached. And I only say that because I watched it stand straight up. Again, he's playing in the long grass. I guess he could have disturbed the grass around it, which could have then lifted the mini. Very minor, but something I noticed as he was releasing. And this is a routine forehand that Gregg Barsby should have all day long. And the gallery indicates just how good of a shot that was for you. After Nicholas's approach to here, this should again be routine right onto the island green. And the gallery just behind the rock wall calling for that to get in.
Do you think this is a jump putt from James? He's got a perfect gap through the trees.
If he should play this out and around to the left, which is exactly what he appears to be lining up, he would be crazy to go through that tree gap.
Okay, I hear your point, but counterpoint, consider how awesome it would be.
I totally agree.
Okay.
But he's going to play it smart and around.
Yeah, probably so.
Oh, out and around, not enough Anheuser to cash the putt. However, he's going to walk away with a par, and he's going to, more importantly, find himself on this leader card tomorrow. Something that he's become very accustomed to here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and beyond.
Absolutely. I think we're going to have a fantastic leader card tomorrow shaping up. I think that our fates are sealed. So we're going to be seeing Ricky Wysocki, Gregg Barsby, Nate Sexton, and James Conrad for our leader card tomorrow. And I can't wait to see these guys attack the course. It's been an absolute exhibition today.
And charging hard today was Nate Doss and Paul Macbeth with 9 under and 7 under respectively. They are in striking distance on the second card. Nikko from the drop zone splits the trees, which is really what you have to do from that drop zone shot. And Gregg Barsby with a roarous applause.
Barsby drops in routine birdie 3 here. You couldn't ask for much more on his drive. Maybe a little bit more to the right, but easy upshot for someone with a proficient forehand like Gregg Barsby.
And that means Barsby goes into the clubhouse still with a share of the lead. He's going to be at 20 under par after Ricky Wysocki shot the hottest round of the tournament at 10 under today. Ricky Wysocki will also be a co-leader along with Barsby at 20 under par. James Conrad's going to maintain at 17. Nikko Locastro, with some bad luck, is going to fall off the pace a little bit here today. But it has been very entertaining. We've got a great crowd and a great gallery. And I got to say, tomorrow has already lined itself up to be a tremendous day. Let's just hope the weather can cooperate.
Absolutely. That's the one thing that we're really concerned about right now is the threat of rain. We don't want this tournament to be canceled around early. It's just not fun. It really isn't. We don't need any more co-champions, even though it's necessary at times. We want to see some good disc golf. So, rain, just hold off. We will thank you later when the round is over. Just consider it, okay? Consider it. I'm appealing to rain on the basis of logic, so...
Makes
you consider
perfect
that,
sense.
yeah, it's going to be good.
As I like to say, simmered down.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I would like to go ahead and we're going to close things out. It's been a great day out here at Maple Hill. I don't think I've ever not had a great day at Maple Hill, which is a testament to just how great this course is.
I'll say the same. Day number 1, great day.
1 for Robert McCall. So for our amazing crew back in Milwaukee, who sits down for this entire day and enjoys the show and also helps produce it and put it on, that's Gary to the O, along with Johnny V. Of course, the amazing camera crew out here. Rick Hushane, along with Chad Inman and Todd Dodge, who captured all of the women's footage. Steve Dodge, who then edits it together. Some of our previous co-commentators, Steve Dodge, Dana Vici. For Robert McCall and Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, it's been an amazing day. We're looking forward to round 4, where we crown our champion tomorrow at the 2017 Vibram Open. We'll see you then.
See you then.
Yeah, buddy.
Bring it in.
at 12 o'clock.
Ricky Wysocki, birdie on 3. Ricky Wysocki, his drive on 4, pin high, flies by, keen wall save, call it a birdie. On hole 5, 10 feet short, call it a birdie. On hole 8, pin high, 15 feet right, that's a birdie. Hole 13. Hole 13, look at that thing, hold the line. Come a little right disc. A beautiful shot. That is a birdie. Hole 14. Birdie! Well done, Ricky Wysocki. Hole 15. Straight as a string right through the thin gap. That's a birdie. Hole 16, watch this shot. That is your current leader in the clubhouse, and what Gregg Barsby does. Here we go, folks.